Now that we know the very basics of variables, let me show you other use cases. The first one is called variable with multiple selection. In the previous example I show you how to make a single selection with a country. But in this case, I'm going to show you how to do multiple selection here. In order to do that, the first thing is to change the query. Before we'll use the equals clause, but equals clause in NRQL only supports one single value. That's why we recommend always to use the in clause on queries when you're using variables. And remember that you need to put brackets. Now we are going to go and edit this variable to see what is inside. Every time that we want to edit or configure a variable, we only have to go to the edit mode of the dashboard, pick the desired variable, and edit that variable. That will show us the form for variables. In this case, we have used a variable of type query. Variables of type queries use the power of NRQL and NRDB to retrieve a list of values. That is why you need to use always the uniques clause to get that list. Uniques returns you a list of values, in this case, country code. Unlike other NRQL grammar, if you want to get the max amount of uniques, the grammar is a little different, and you need to put here 10,000, which is the max, and that will return the max amount of country codes that we have stored. The other thing that we are going to do is press enter to return the results. We will select the output format of multi-value, so we know that it's multi-value, and then we will select the values that we want from the list to be the defaults. In this case, we'll select 3 values and save the query. As you can see, the chart is already updated. Countries have been selected the default ones, and every time I make a change, I can go back to the default. The second variable that we want to show you is when we are using the type identifier. Let me show you the query. Identifier allows you to change part of the NRQL items. In this case, we are changing for facet, and we put here location. Facet location. This will allow you to have dynamic faceting in the dashboard. Let's see how this variable is constructed. I will edit the location variable, and in this case, it's a list, and I put 2 possible values, country code and city, which are attributes of the event. The output format is identifier. I'll save. I'm done editing, and now when I pick country, I see the values by country, and when I pick city, I group by city. The next example is using the type number in variables. Let me show you again the query. As you can see, I'm using the variable percentile, which is of the number type, inside the percentile function. Let's have a look at the variable. Go back to edit, and I edit. As you can see here, the main thing is that it's a list where I put different numeric values. I selected the default value of 55, and the output format is a number because the percentile function needs a number. And now, as I change the value for the percentile, you can see here how it's calculating the new percentile. My last example will help you to see how can you use variables and regular expressions, so you can use variables and word clauses. You can use both the capture function and the aparse function. Let me show you first the query. So in this query, we capture the platform version attribute, and we extract the right side of the release, so the release version, and we see if it's within our release version list. And then we facet by that. And that will give us a table with all the release versions that we had and the count of them. You can do exactly the same using aparse, but with a different grammar. Here you have the query that will just extract the release part of the platform version, and then we can compare using the workflows. The other important part of this has to do with the variable. We have a variable of type query, where what we do is we parse also the platform version attribute, and we extract the version from the release version. And in this case, the output format is a string because we are comparing two strings. Now that that is working, what I can do is just select the release versions I want to see, just by the number, and I can get the table with the count. As you can see, variables are very, very powerful. So we recommend you to stay tuned as we release more and more features, and make sure to check the links in the comments. Thanks.